Hello, hello, hello. Happy, what is this, Wednesday? I believe it's Wednesday now. Um, Come on in and join me. Join me for our second part of our series, a confidence check series today. Um, so we can talk about our topic for today. A slow death from your 9 to 5, move up or move on. So let me know when you're tuned in. Let me know when you're here so I can speak to you. And then I need you to do one of two things, right? I need you to, like I said, speak. And then I also need for you to share this with somebody so they can hear this word for women CEOs and women leaders that we're getting ready to talk about today. So I'm going to give you all a few minutes to get in the room. And then we're going to jump on and go ahead and get started because we got quite a bit to talk about today. Okay. So, let's see. Let me double check, make sure all my streams are running across all of my platforms. And then we are going to be good to go. So, okay. It looks like everything is up and everything is on. So, yes, this is what we're going to talk about today. So, you all know that I've been doing, I started doing a 4-part live series yesterday called a confidence check. And this is in my efforts to help women CEOs and women leaders, so women at work and women in business, understand the impacts of your clarity and your confidence that you could have, or how it impacts you in your environments of which you work, right? So, my goal is to hopefully that by the end of this series, you realize that your confidence is a tool that you need to have in your toolkit, and you need to learn how to use it very wisely to be able to advance in the fields that you want to advance, to be able to advance in business the way that you want to advance. You need to be able to have it in your toolkit and use it efficiently and effectively, right? So, confidence is not just your outer look, it's not just what you feel on the outside or what you look like on the outside. It's way more than that. It's definitely very, very more so internal. Confidence on the outside is confidence that we can dress up. It's confidence that we can wear. It's confidence that we can cover and we can hide behind. But in this case of this series, I'm speaking on confidence from an internal standpoint. And also, your clarity is also very internal as well. So both of those are from an internal standpoint, and depending on where you are on the meter, say if we had a meter from 1 to 10, will depend on where you actually fall, if you will, as far as how you exercise and display that confidence on a day-to-day basis, and how you effectively use it each and every day that you wake up. Because as I talked about yesterday, depending on where your confidence is and where your clarity is going to depend on what you show up and do that day, who you decide to engage with that day, what you decide to present as an offer, whether or not you're going to show up and go to those meetings that day. It's all going to be dependent upon that, right? So our confidence plays a lot more of a role than what we would like to give it credit for, right? So if you are watching, like I said, do one of two things. Let me know that you're here so I can speak with you, but also share this with somebody because, like I said, this is my mission this week to help you to understand your confidence and your clarity better as tools in your toolkit and not just something that you wear outside of yourself, right? So, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Tanika Johnson. I am the owner of Cultivate with Tanika Johnson, where we help you do one or all of three things. So, we help you elevate your identity, we help you expand your impact, and we also help you evolve your income. So, whatever you come to us for, whether it's a B2B project, business, or strategic advisory, because we specialize in people and process solutions. We have coaching and strategic advisory, or if it's a project that you're doing, it's going to fall up under one of those three categories or all of them in our efforts to try to provide solutions, clarity, and guidance for your project or your coaching for your business, right? So let's go ahead and get into it. If you're in the room, like I said, speak and then also share this with somebody. But today's topic is a slow death from your 9 to 5, move up or move on. So I shared a little bit about my story yesterday from working various 9 to 5s that I've had in the past, And I kind of talked about yesterday's topic, which was a seat at the table, a poison invite, where I talked about the level of confidence that was impacted by me or from me or to me rather, because I was invited to someone's table. But when I was getting to the point to where I was becoming better than good and I was becoming more so great, that invite became poison and I was no longer welcome at that table. I started to be looked at as competition at that time. And at that time, even though I was very well emotionally intelligent, I was very well equipped mentally, and understood human behavior, it was still very much so a shocker at that time when it happened to me, because this person was my coach and my mentor, and I never thought that she would see me as a threat or as competition, right? But that's unfortunately what it ended up happening to be. So it ended up a blessing that once something that once was a blessing, very much a blessing. So to both of us, ended up kind of turning into a poison invite, and I kind of shared about that story yesterday. um, I shared about how that impacted my confidence, how I didn't decided that I was going to not work my business, because I needed time to heal and I needed time to recover from that, because I had never been put in a situation like that. And it really did impact me, because the things that I thought that I was doing, as far as, like I said, she was my coach and my mentor. I thought these things that I were doing were great things. I thought that they were helping to advance me as not only a woman business owner, but also a woman leader. And it seems like I don't want to say got in trouble for them, but I almost got in trouble for them because I showed up to be great when she was just wanting me to be good. Okay. Um, and so let's talk a little bit more about what this looks like today for our topic. Today we're talking about confidence silenced. Okay. So there are a lot of women that I know that struggle with internal confidence issues that they pretty much have determined that they're just going to silence them and they're just going to let them be. They pretty much have almost given up on themselves, if you will, to a certain extent. And they become comfort, comforted. They become comfortable rather in their current roles or positions. So whether that's in your 9 to 5, or whether that's actually if you are a woman business owner that feels like she really should be pivoting or making changes in her business, but for some reason, like where you are right now is just comfortable. It has this way of appearing no matter the environment that we are actually in, right? So it has this way of appearing, right? But I want to talk about the behavior behind why it may, if you do have a side hustle or you own a business or you're thinking about stepping off into doing that, or if you're currently at your 9 to 5 and you know you deserve a promotion or a raise or whatever the case may be, you know that there's a higher role that you're deciding that you want to go to. Hey, Nikki, you know that there's a higher role that you're deciding that you want to go to, but you're not necessarily having the confidence or the clarity that you need to be able to step up into their role or to be able to move on for their role. Because like I said, today's topic is about either moving up or moving on. So you literally, if you're in your 9 to 5 right now, those are the only two choices that you really have as far as advancing in leadership as a woman leader. And then even in your business, even as a woman CEO and a woman leadership in that regard, you're either going to move up or move on, right? So let's kind of talk about how some of us have allowed the fact that we have allowed the environments or the comfort zones that we're currently dealing with, like we have settled for them. And so it's created a space for our confidence to be silenced, right? And so because of that, because our confidence has become silenced in these spaces, it has thus so, hey Chef Tiff, it has thus so, number one, caused our environments or wherever that we're comfortable with, that we're not liking, that we feel stuck from, it has caused us to allow that environment or that space to be a thief of our creative freedom and our joy, right? And so when you look at this as far as where you are and where you want to go, it's causing creative blocks for you. For you, it's causing the ability for you to feel like you're not as confident or not as powerful as you desire to be. So you may feel a little bit intimidated and wanting to seek that promotion. You may feel a little bit intimidated as a woman CEO and wanting to do extra collaborations, or maybe go to B2B business versus B2C business, or even B2E business if you want to go a little bit higher. It may all start to become intimidating. You may start to feel like your thief of creative joy and freedom that you have with your creativeness is starting to be diminished a little bit, because it no longer fits the environment or the comfort zone that you have put yourself in, the box that you have allowed yourself to settle for. It no longer fits that space. So all of a sudden, like after you have been there for a while, it starts to kind of silence itself. And it starts to kind of feel like a thief in the night, right? It just comes in the middle of the night and you wake up one day and you're like, what happened? I don't have this creative joy that I once had about this space or this thing anymore. I don't have this creative freedom that I once had about this position or this role anymore. I don't feel like the person that I was when I first stepped into this environment or this role anymore. I believe I have outgrown this space. And y'all know how much I like to talk about the power of evolution, because we as humans, we're naturally put here, like we're here to evolve. Those of us that don't evolve, we pretty much, I hate to say fail, but you have to understand and learn how to basically manipulate the power of evolution as a human being. Because if you're choosing to stay in the same spot forever, you're definitely choosing to be stagnant on purpose. You're choosing that chaos for yourself, right? So if you know that you're somebody that you want to pivot, hey y'all that's tuning in, let me know that you're here and then share this with somebody. If you know that you're somebody that you either want to move up or move on, whatever you're deciding, like I said, no matter the environment or the role, whether it's in a 9 to 5 or it's in your business, you need to be trying to put your power play together to figure out how to get yourself unstuck, right? You need to be trying to put your power play together to figure out how to get yourself unstuck. So, the first thing, like I said, that's probably happening currently because your confidence has been silenced and you started to try to kind of like be okay with settling for your comfort zone currently, is the thief of creative freedom and joy. Okay, let's talk about number two. So, number two, comfort and chaos internally. So, you may not feel like you actually have chaos happening like outside of yourself, but it is a slow death on the inside of you that is happening on each and every day that you wake up, knowing that you're going to another role or going to another environment or engaging in another business practice that you are no longer a great fit for. It is a slow death on the inside of you. So you find comfort in this internal chaos and you settle for it. You say, well, it's been happening for this long and things have been okay for this long, and you eventually become numb to it. That's eventually what happens to us as humans. You become numb to it. You start to adapt to the numbness of your comfort zone because this is what you have allowed to happen. It just seems like, well, things are still going well outside of me, but internally I know what I feel like when I wake up each and every day, right? Getting unstuck. I know what I feel like when I wake up each and every day. Each and every day that I wake up, I have this small, not even small. I have this voice inside of me that is just screaming chaotically internally, telling me like, "Hey, you finna do this another day in a row. We're really gonna follow through with this another day in a row. We're really gonna settle for this another day in a row. We're really going to face this another day in a row. We're really going to allow our minds to let us be okay with this another day in a row." You're really going to want to continue to keep telling yourself that you're not confident enough to be able to take upon that higher leadership role so you can make more money. You know you need the more money in your business. You know you need more money. You know you need to seek a higher audience. You know you need to create a higher offer, right? But it's all playing on your confidence internally. It's a slow, silent death of chaos that's internally that's just sweeping you up and it's telling you that your comfort zone is okay. And you've just become numb to it. You just become numb to it because what we as women, we're superheroes on a day-to-day basis. We don't let things bother us. We might go home and cry and pout about it a little bit, but in public, we're going to be the superhero. And we're not going to show that we have a lot of chaotic things happen to us internally as far as what we're mentally thinking about the comfort zones that we know we shouldn't be sitting in. We know we shouldn't be sitting in them, and we're settling for them, right? Each and every day. So that's number two. Hey y'all, hey, let me know that you're here and then share this with somebody so I can also speak to you all. So let me know that you're here and share this with somebody. Um, but number three, so let's go into mindset because, like I said, this is a formula. So my personal formula that I have introduced within my brand and that I work with my clients is that clarity plus confidence equals coins. I don't care if you work a 9 to 5. I don't care if you are a woman business owner or woman CEO. Clarity plus confidence equals coins because when you are well informed, when you have clarity and a clear conscience of something, you're able to go ahead and make a decision. You're more confident in making a decision. You're more confident in showing up to sell when you're more prepared. You're more confident when you believe in what it is that you do. You're more confident when you have the creative range and freedom and flexibility to be able to do what it is that that you need to do in the way that you want to do it. You're way more confident when you know how to use that as a tool for internal fixes and not just external fixes, right? You're way more confident to be able to do that. And then once you have that clarity and that confidence, you definitely can command more coins because people can be able to see it. They can sense it. They can see it. They can tell that you're in your main character era, as we like to say now. They can tell that you're doing main character energy. You're no longer wanting to be a person in the background. You're serious about what it is that you bring to the table. You're serious about your identity, your impact, and your income. Those three because they all go together. Okay. Let me continue to emphasize that. But let's go to number three. So let's talk about the mediocrity mindset. So I kind of talked about this yesterday. Some of you all, this may not necessarily be your fault. Again, yesterday I talked about how your 9 to 5 has kind of placed you in a place to where you feel like you have to do survival of the fittest. And so some things you settle for doing and you do it out of survival because that's how your environment has conditioned you to be. So some of you all have been in your place of a comfort zone for so long that you are settling for the mindset of mediocrity, knowing that you were made and built for more, but you're choosing not to do more. You're choosing not to have more. You're choosing not to be more. You're settling for the mediocrity that's being handed to you, the box that's being handed to you, to not have the freedom or the flexibility to be able to exercise what it is that you should be able to as a woman, right? You're settling for that. So you're settling for the mindset of mediocrity. And I told people coming into 2024 that I can't settle for people who have that are settling for mediocrity. I can't settle for to have those people around me in this season. I can't allow people to have the mediocrity mindset to be around me in this season. I saw a couple of people that coming into this year, right? And while I was telling people that, I was also getting to the point to where my mindset was catching up for the elevation that had already kind of started happening for me. But it's just the fact that sometimes our minds move faster than our bodies. So sometimes, or maybe our minds move slower than our bodies, excuse me. And sometimes our brains have to have some time to catch up. Our brains have to have some time to catch up. So the elevation that was happening at the time, I was well aware of it happening, but my brain had not caught up to the fact that like, oh, like it's really time to go in and do this. Now I'm finally at the point where I'm just like, oh, it's really time to go in and do this. And I'm actually going to be taking some time because I have a couple of big projects that I'm working on currently, but I'm going to be taking some time to work on those projects and really nurture those projects because those are things that I actually pray for. So I need to nurture them and I need to focus on them and I need to dedicate some time to them, right? But the mindset of mediocrity right now is not welcome in this season. It's not welcome for me and it's not welcome for you. But because of the environments that you have been in previously, again, it's a slow death to your dreams as far as what you thought would be possible because you have settled for this comfort zone that you're in. You have settled for this comfort zone that you're in. So if you don't know anything other than what you know. You can only pull from the information that you have access to be able to make an informed decision. So if you don't have enough information to properly make an informed decision, then it's definitely going to be hard for you to have confidence or move on confidence or clarity to be able to do that, right? So um if you feel like you are struggling with a mindset of mediocrity, here's one thing that I would tell you. It definitely starts with what you look like and what you accept internally, right? And mindset work is a constant work. It's something that constantly keeps going that you have to actively exercise every day. Your mind is a muscle. It's not just something that you can read a mindset book and you can read, a mindset tip here and a mindset tip there, and you're going to be able to properly adapt to what it is that you need to do. Okay. It's not something that you could do like that. You have to constantly keep exercising it. You have to constantly keep developing it. You have to constantly keep learning how to trust it. You have to constantly keep learning how to properly elevate it in the way that you need to, because that's the only way that you're going to actually build the muscle up and be able to do what it is that you need to do. So you're not settling for a mindset of mediocrity. You're not settling for your comfort zone that you're choosing to step into. And number 4, so we have silence confidence due to conforming and adapting. Silence confidence due to conforming or adapting. So I talked a little bit yesterday about the patriarchal systems that we have been basically placed into by default to be able to conform and adapt to them. So we've had to, right? Because again, we talked about survival of the fittest yesterday. We've had to do that. Those are things that we've had to do. So because we've had to do them for so long, and because the narrative has always been, oh, you're going to work for a business or a company for 40 years, and this is what your makeup and your mindset is going to be for the next 40 years. When we come out of that as business owners, or those of us that wants to start working on our exit plan or our side hustle or whatever the case may be, when we come out of that, to some extent, what we believe is possible for us has been silenced a little bit. And this is why I said this is confident silence. This is why I named the topic what I named it today: a slow death from your 9 to 5, move up and move on, confident silence. Because these are the behaviors and the conditions that have happened while you're there. So while you're there, you're being conditioned to accept that maybe you can't strive for a little bit more than what it is that you desire. Maybe you can't have the role that it is that you desire. Maybe you can't climb the corporate ladder the way that you want to. Maybe you can't have the flexibility and the freedom in your role that you want to. As a business owner, right? As a business owner, if you are transitioning from the 9 to 5 space into being a business owner, there's a learning curve period. If you didn't start trying to build your business while you were at your 9 to 5, aka having like a 9 to 5 exit plan, which means you actually started there before you made your exit, it's a bit of a learning curve if you haven't already started. So if you decide to step out on faith and go ahead and start your business upon leaving, you have to give yourself time to go through that learning curve for the most part. And if it doesn't happen on the front end, it'll kind of happen mid journey or on the back end, right? Um, you have to reawaken your confidence. You have to redesign your mindset. You have to redesign your identity to fit a new environment that you're stepping into. It doesn't happen overnight. It's something, like I said, that it's a consistent, not a consistent, well, it should be a consistent learning curve if you're actively working towards something, but it may not be as consistent for everybody as it is for others, right? So if you're consistently working towards that development, you know that you wanted to give your all and step all the way into their business. You're going to have a bit of a learning curve in learning how to, like I said, redefine and rebuild your identity and what you would naturally adapt to, because now you're going into a space that you weren't normally in. What was required for you in the 9 to 5 space may not necessarily be required for you, or may be required more of you when you step off into your business space, depending on what it is that you want to do, right? So your confidence can be silenced because of adapting to a system that you have been forced to conform to and adapt to for so long, and you don't even realize it. It's just something that happens. So when you decide to step off for yourself and you decide that you're going to go do something for yourself, it's a completely different ball game. It looks very, very different. You have to reignite or rebrand that confidence, if you will, because now you're wearing it for yourself. You are the brand, you are the face, you are the person behind the operations, you are the person behind the customer and client success, you are the person behind the customer and client experience. So you have to be able to reignite that in a different way that helps you learn how to be successful as a woman business owner as you step off into this space. Hopefully this is making sense. Y'all let me know if y'all digging this, if y'all picking up what I'm putting down. If you're here, let me know, say hey, and do want to also share this to somebody that you may know that may need it. So you could tag a couple people as well. But we're on our last point. So Number five, idolizing indecisiveness. So I don't know if you all know that, but I'm gonna just drop this little key. Um, Leaders and CEOs make informed decisions. And for the most part, they'll make informed decisions with not having 100% of the information. So those of you all that are waiting for you to have 100% of the information for you to be able to make an informed decision. Well, let's talk about what the makeup of a leader is. I wish I had one of them t-shirts that had like a nutrition label and you could see like what the makeup of a leader is. Maybe somebody should make that. That's an idea for somebody. Sell that. But when we think about the makeup of a leader and what a woman CEO is, you all have to understand. I'll never forget and I'll never discredit what I actually saw. So when I went to go watch the Renaissance film from Beyonce, those of you that went and saw the film, you all will know exactly the moment that I'm talking about. There was a moment during her performance that she was in the middle of performing, but I believe it was when Blue was getting ready to come on stage. They had like a malfunction, and it looked like that it was basically just a part of the show. It looked like it was just a transition of the show. She had to kind of like not go forth and do what she needed to do because she needed to go be a CEO. She needed to go give instruction, and she needed to do it quickly because she was in the middle of a show. So at that very moment, it was calling her to step forth in the middle of her performance. So just think about it. She had to transition really quick. She just got off stage, was just got done dancing and singing, and was ready to transition to the next act. But then they had an issue. Think, like I said, something happened with Blue Ivy. I can't remember exactly what it was, but whatever it was, she problem solved really quick. Like it was like 30 seconds. And what could have looked like a failed show or a disruption in the show ended up not looking like a disruption in the show and just simply looked like a transition because she problem solved so quickly. So the power of indecisiveness as far as how it relates to your confidence as a woman in leadership or as a woman business owner is it keeps you stuck. It literally freezes you to the point to where you don't make a decision. And like I said, you start idolizing indecisiveness in a way because you're just like, I don't have enough information. Well, some of you all are stuck and you're frozen because you have too much information. And it's a common business practice of mine. Fortune 500 companies, Fortune 100, 200 companies. It's a common business practice amongst them for them to be able to make decisions and solve problems based on not having all of the information. So that is a muscle that you need to learn how to exercise as a woman CEO and a woman business owner and say a little bit is going to be, like I said, I wish I had the shirt. A little bit of this is going to be faith. We got like 20% faith. We got like 20% belief, whatever we need to add up to like 100%, right? We got 20% belief. The other 20% is information. And then the other 20% is confidence. That makes up 100%, right? But it's never 100% information. It's never 100% of clarity. You as a leader and a CEO, you're going to have to learn how to problem solve without knowing all of the pieces of the puzzle. You have to learn how to do that. And using that as an excuse to stay stuck in a role that you don't like, in a role that does not allow you to grow, in a role that does not allow you to have the type of flexibility and creative freedom that you truly desire to have that represents you as the woman leader that you want to be, it's not an excuse for you to say, I don't have enough information. You need to take what you have and use what you have in the season of which you have it to get to where it is that you want to go. That is so good. I don't know if you all caught that or not. Hopefully you all did. If you didn't, I'm going to say it again. Okay. You need to use what you have in the season of which you have it to get to where it is that you want to go. So you may not have everything right now. Like I said, I always like to use this example. We pray for cake. We pray for an enlarged territory. We pray for expansion. We pray for growth. All of that, right? Well, just think about the flowers, or just think about when you're baking a cake. So I'll talk about each of these examples. Think about the flowers outside. If they never got rain, they would never grow. There are very few plants that can grow without some sort of water. Some maybe sun, very sun dependent, but there are very few plants that just absolutely cannot have water without to allow them to grow. So when we pray for expansion, we expect it to look like exactly what we expect it to look like. Like when we pray for it, there's probably a visual that we get as far as what we think that expansion should look like, but it may not always look like that. It may look like rain. So you can soak in the nutrients from the water and be able to grow how you're supposed to grow, or so that rain can wash away something that doesn't need to be taken with you into the next season for you to be able to advance and level up the way that you need to do so. It may look like that. For those of us, if you're somebody that likes to bake and make sweet treats, when we pray for expansion and we pray for growth, it may look like the form of, well, God will send the ingredients. He may didn't send the cake. If I prayed for cake, he may didn't send the cake, but he did send me the ingredients. I had my eggs, I had my flour, I had whatever I need to be able to make the cake. But if I don't go in there and make it, I'm not gonna have it. So you need to be able to take what you have as far as pieces of the puzzle to make a decision and make a best effort in what it is that you need to do. So, one, it doesn't play or mess with your identity. Two, it doesn't play or mess with your impact. And three, it doesn't play or mess with your income, right? So, if at any time in your journey on your 9 to 5 as a women business owner, one of those areas is being affected, I can guarantee you another one of those areas is going to be affected. Rightfully so. If at any time. And if at any time these things start happening, this is when you need to start asking yourself the questions, right? This is also why it's great for you to take action on something without it being perfect, so you can gather the data that you need to be able to make it a little more perfect. CEOs and women leaders, they learn in real time. Real life CEOs, real life problem solvers, they learn in real time. That's what they learn in. That's the best place and the best way for you to be able to learn and be able to effectively apply something. Just think about if you had a medical student that was going to school to be a doctor. Let's say they're going to be a heart surgeon. Would you want somebody that's a heart surgeon, been in school 10 years, because medical school is like 10, 12 years. Would you want somebody that went to school 10 to 12 years and they never went and did hospital rounds? They never actually did what we would look like, what we would say is kind of like an internship. They never had real world or hands-on experience. Would you want somebody to do open heart surgery on you that they never had no real world experience? I wouldn't. You gonna tell me you're gonna go to school for 10 to 12 years and you're not gonna take upon the real world experience? They're not gonna involve some real world experience inside of their curriculum so they can prepare them to enter into those hospitals and those spaces. Because the time for you to learn is not at the time for you to be doing your first heart surgery when you graduate school. It's not the time for you to be learning, right? That is a very important time for you to be laser focused and trying to save that patient and make sure that their surgery is successful. I wouldn't want nobody operating on me that hasn't had some form of real world exposure or experience in that particular setting, right? I would want somebody that has real world experience. Hence, this is also too while when you step off into a business, you don't need to discount your 9 to 5 experience that you have. You need to be able to take that and learn how to, first of all, apply a transferable skill set, because most of you all really would be great business owners if you would learn how your skills actually transfer over. And you would notice that. And then you can also notice as well too, because this is what leaders do. They notice the areas where they are weak or where they are deficient or where they might not be so good at supporting themselves. So they know eventually, if not right off, they'll need to be able to either hire somebody to help them in the areas that they are deficient, or maybe you need to do a skills base skills-based training so you can make yourself more proficient in what it is that you need to do instead of just settling for mediocrity and just saying, well, this is my skill set. People in the beauty industry, this is something that bothers me with people in the beauty industry. Um, People go to school, they get their certifications and their licensures, and they just think that that's it. When the beauty industry is an ever evolving industry, multi-trillion dollar industry by now, I'm sure. If not multi-trillion, it's definitely multi-billion. We all know that. But people settle for mediocrity by just saying, oh, I went to school and I got my license or my certification, and I'm never going to do continuing education credits. You can't step off into an industry like that, as creative as it is, and think that people are supposed to pay you top dollar. You finna charge all of these late fees for this lackluster client experience, and then you only got this basic skill set of skills. You should always be welcoming the ability for you to invest in yourself personally so you can have a better experience, so you can charge top dollar for your skills, and so you don't have to settle for the basics that you just learned in school. It's great that you did that, but how much more could you advance as somebody in your field so you don't look like everybody else? Because it's a saturated field, let's just be clear. Even though it's plenty of money for everybody to get in that industry, no matter what avenue you decide to go, there's probably some parts of the beauty industry that still have a lot of a good opportunity. But for the most part, if you just decided that you're just going to do like the basics in the beauty industry, you always have to consider having a budget for your personal development. Those are the things that are going to help you stand out as a provider in the beauty industry if you chose to go the extra mile outside of what you just learned in school. Health and wellness is the same thing, right? All of those require real life application. I want people that have had real life experience. I want people that have been exposed to these things so they know how to actually come on and do these things. That experience counts. It makes you that much more valuable. So you have to understand where your value is as far as the transferability of your skill set, your knowledge, and what you bring to the table, and how you can transfer that over into a business for yourself, or even if you decide to go work for somebody else, it's fine. But understand the value that you bring to the table. You're not valuable, right? You're not valuable. So the only choices, like I said, that you have in this fight, um, is to move up or move on, right? Move up and move on. And like I said, this whether you are currently in your 9 to 5 and you know that you want to shoot for a promotion, or you want to shoot for a better role at another company because you need more dollars. And it's been proven statistically that people who actually switch companies more often, they make more money. They're more than likely to get the raises and the promotions that they want if they go to a different company, especially if you have been at that particular company for some time, right? Um, with you and your business, you either gonna move up or move on. So if you feel like your current audience base is not serving you where you are, and if you feel like you have outgrown, you have already done what you needed to do, you came and you feel your assignment with that current client group or that audience group, and you feel like you're ready to pivot, or you're ready to evolve, you're ready to aim higher, it's okay for you to break up with your audience and aim higher. Am I saying it's not gonna hurt? No, that's not what I'm saying. Because once you nurture that group of people for so long, they become like your family if you're doing it right. If you're doing it right. My clients are like my friends and my family. They love me and I love them, right? Um, but you may get to a point to where you're ready to serve higher that no longer fulfills you, right? You fulfilled your assignment at that place. And it may take you a little bit of strategy for you to be able to diversify your cash flow, right? So maybe you don't stop serving them altogether, but it gives you an opportunity to say, well, how can I keep serving them, but also continue to aim higher as well? I always talk about cash flow diversity, right? I always talk about cash flow diversity. You should have different points and different ways that people can enter into the experience with you. They may not necessarily be able to pay top dollar for what it is that you do right now, but they can work their way up a ladder, right? The ascension ladder is what we like to call it. They can work their way up through that in your business. Well, Tanika, what does that look like? They may just decide to purchase a digital product from you. until they can get to the point to where they can actually afford one-to-one or group coaching with you, or whatever your highest service package for service providers that are not necessarily coaches. Maybe that's how, they work their way up to you. And if they just keep buying digital products to do DIY and self-serve themselves, that gives them a little bit of taste of what it's like to experience you as a coach, or your teaching style, or your project style, whatever the case may be. It gives them a little bit of a window of insight to say, like, if this is what I'm getting in this experience through a digital product, what would it look like for me to be able to work with this person one-to-one or in a group? It gives them a little bit of a window to see what your teaching and leadership style looks like, so they can say whether or not they feel like the experience is aligned, and you can say whether or not the experience is aligned as well too, because you have the power to choose your clients, as you honestly really should be choosing your clients. Your clients don't always have to choose you, right? But that's the power of having diversified options within your business, and just diversified options, even if you work a 9 to 5. Because I like to say, if you have a 9 to 5, you need a side hustle anyway. No matter if it's like your typical side hustle, or if you dive into investments or financials or something, you need an extra cushion of some kind that's going to help you, because your job is never guaranteed. It's never guaranteed. So you always need some form of a cushion. If you are a business owner, it's okay for you to have multiple streams of income. Don't get too rowdy with it though. Build up one and get it to where it needs to be. Diversify that one though, and let that help you fund other things that you desire to have eventually in the future. But build up that one, diversify those streams, provide options for people to be able to enter into the customer experience and the customer journey with you. Okay. So I just wanted to highlight those 5 things today for our session today. A slow death from your 9 to 5, move up or move on. You can determine whether or not from this experience that you've had with me today, whether or not you feel like you're stuck, you're settling, you're wanting to pivot. You know you need to pivot, but you need help. If you need help, hello, Cultivators here. Like I just said at the beginning, we're either going to help you elevate your identity, expand your impact, or evolve your income, or it may also be all three. So if you are wanting to figure out if Cultivate is a great fit for you, and you are a great fit for Cultivate, you can send me a DM. You can send me a DM and we could just have a conversation. No strings attached. You can ask me questions if you want to ask me questions specifically to what it is that you have questions about. No strings attached. So let's get back to having this humanistic interaction. Oh, I just have to say this. I've been doing, y'all know I love offline networking and offline events so much more than being online. And I've been having such a great experience getting back to what it was that I was doing before COVID. And I'm just inviting more human interaction because I realize how much more people need it. Okay. So if this is your first time seeing me, I'm inviting you. I'm inviting you to have a conversation with me. Like I said, there's no strings attached. If you feel like I'm a great fit, great. If I feel like you're a great fit, I'll definitely present to you what it is that needs to be presented to you. But if you just have general questions, like I said, my DM is open. This series, again, a confidence check series, is all for women leaders and women CEOs, so you can understand how to use clarity and confidence in your toolkit as a tool and not just a representation of you, if that makes sense. So that outside layer that we like to present to people, that's not just what it is. You need to learn how to use these things as a tool so you can increase your you can elevate your identity, you can increase your impact, and you can increase your income. These are tools. These are naturally given tools to you as a woman, because this is just your makeup and your design. So if you have questions about anything that I said today, just let me know. I look forward to hopping on here again tomorrow at 12 p.m. to talk about our third part in the series. I hope to see you all tomorrow. For those of you that'll be watching the replay, feel free to drop your comments below, ask me questions below, or shoot me a DM after you watch the replay and give me some feedback about what you feel about this experience in this series so far once you get done watching. So hopefully you all found this valuable. I really enjoyed getting on here and teaching about this today. I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow at 12 p.m. for the third part of our series, A Confidence Check. And like I said, share this with another woman leader or another woman CEO because they need to hear it. Okay. So let's conquer confidence. and clarity together. And let's get us to where we need to be, whether that's in the professional space, you want to develop your 9 to 5 exit plan, you need some personal or business development assistance and coaching. Let's get us to where we need to be because it's 2024 and let's just say it's 2024 and you need to do what you need to do now. You really do. You need to do what you need to do now. You've been waiting long enough. Like I said, I just got through talking about indecision. It's not that you need more information. It's not that you need, additional confirmation. You already know exactly what it is that you need to do. Your intuitiveness has already told you exactly what you should be doing, who you should be aligning with, who you should be collaborating with, who you should be paying for to receive services and coaching, whatever the case may be. It has already told you what it is. Get your questions answered. Asking questions and getting your questions answered is nothing wrong with it. Okay. So don't stay stuck in unknown. This is an invite and an invitation. It's a warm invite and warm invitation to develop a relationship with me and see what can be done for you. Or like I said, if you just want to have spark a conversation and ask me questions, I have no problem with that. So yeah, um, let me know what you all think, and I will see you all tomorrow on the third part of the series at 12 p.m. CST. Bye, y'all.